Guys, absolutely buzzing. We've got Sammy for his case study interview. How are you, brother?
Fucking on top of the world, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, this is a really, really cool one. We just but basically before we hit record, we talked about how you just came off of making 2K today. Just confirming that.
Yeah. So two piffs.
Amazing.
One was a follow-up, one was a one call close, 10K package, 10% comms. Fucking insane. Yeah.
Great.
Blows my mind every single day.
And how old are you again, by the way?
I'm 23.
23 years old,
Yeah.
talking to high level entrepreneurs looking to build their Airbnb portfolio. And, now, last month, the reason why we're here filming this case study is last month you hit over 12K commissions in a month. Is that right?
Yeah. So yesterday, racked up 12K for the total month, and next month is going to look even better. They just restructured the comp, so on track to hitting some big numbers. It just happens so quickly.
Yeah, man. As we were talking about before we got on, nothing for a while, then all at once. So stoked to have you here. I think there's going to be so many things that a lot of guys are going to be able to learn from your journey. A lot of guys will get very inspired because as with every case study I have on the channel, this wasn't easy to get to the result that you've gotten to. You fought like hell to go through some, very, very hard moments, and you ran into a
Mm.
lot of roadblocks as everyone else does in this industry. I always like to give it and make it super transparent because you have the right expectations, and you got guys like you who, we'll talk about later how, you watched a lot of these case studies and now you're here filming one and what the expectations were laid out in the beginning. Even though that was laid out, it was still a hard journey regardless.
Mm.
So yeah, man, I wanna take the guys back before you even met me. Like, what were you doing before high ticket sales, and how did that even lead you to making money online?
Yeah. So I was studying paramedicine and I've always had the idea of going down like the traditional route, like become a paramedic, you know. It's slightly different from just an office job, but I knew I didn't want to work in an office. I didn't knew I wanted to like move around, do something slightly different, right? I thought paramedicine was a route for me, and up until like literally 3 months before I graduated, I came across high ticket sales. And so I had a friend who bought, funny enough, a barbering course. It was a 10K barbering course, and he did really, really well with that. So he scaled his barbering, like cutting out of his parents' home, to making like 10K a month. And it just blew my mind. It's like, oh, damn, there's like people out there who are paying these people like big amounts of money to learn from them as like a mentor and able to like completely change their life around. I was like, what is this? What's going on here? So I like sat down with him, had a coffee, and he explained to me the Mountain Man. Right? Do you remember the Mountain Man? Yeah. So it's in Connor's training, but the idea of hitting 10K a month as like, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old blew my mind because for me it's like you become a 9 to 5 corporate man to be able to do that. You stick at the job for 3 years to be able to get there. Right? And then at the peak of your career, you probably hit like 150K. There are kids out here making so much money just doing the most unconventional thing. It just blew my mind. So I'm like, I want in on that. I want to see how it happens. And that led me to RSA. So when I graduated, and I had my like discovery call with Lucas way back, like 3 months back, and I knew I wanted to graduate first. I knew I wanted to finish up, but like it was always in the back of my head. It's like I could be doing so much more. Like I would go to what my friends like to do a lot when they hang out is they go to like karaoke, they go get drunk, they go to raves, take drugs, right? But in the back of my head, like I want to be doing so much more. Like, what am I doing here? Right? Where is this going to lead me? I'm going to just enjoy these moments short term, always knowing, thinking I could be doing so much more than that. So literally the day after I graduate, like my last exam, I just pulled the trigger on RSA. And from then on, like life changed, completely changed. Yeah.
And it wasn't a positive change, immediately overnight. That's for sure. I know it was
No,
quite an
no.
intimidating process, and talk to Lucas, and you joined a couple months later.
Mm.
What was it like before you got into the industry? And I know you probably looked at a couple case studies, as you mentioned before we got on the call. Like, what was that like doing your research, your due diligence before you even joined RSA in the first place? And what do you feel like was the reason why you actually chose our community as compared to everything else that's out there?
So I am probably the most traditional man you'll ever meet. Um, Parents live a traditional life. My brother who's 2 years older than me, is becoming a lawyer. Very, very traditional. Like I knew no one except that one guy who was making money through barbering. He actually signed up for the RSA before I did. If it wasn't for him, like I never would have even believed any of this was possible, right? But like knowing that now, like I was so stuck in that traditional mindset that's like I never even thought this was possible. If he wasn't already in there, like I probably wouldn't even pull the trigger on it. So before signing up to RSA, I was like watching through everything. I was going through all the videos, like trying to pick out like whether or not this is going to be like, a scam or
Hmm.
whatnot.
Yeah.
My partner, the one that I love very dearly, she tried so hard to talk me out of it because like there's no way you're paying this amount of money to this guy to teach you this skill that you know nothing about. Um, it was a hard conversation, but like at the end of the day, I knew I needed to do something about it because otherwise I would just live a life that I wouldn't fully be happy about. Like paramedicine, it was like 2 years before I could even get a job. There's no way else waiting 2 years. But I knew that I wanted to be the man who can provide, right? Man who can go out there, start a business, do the things I need to be able to reach an income level that can provide me the life I want. So it's like it took a lot to get over that like nerves and skepticism of like actually starting something and pulling that trigger. Um, but at the end of the day, like took a leap of faith almost. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think so many people who are watching this probably, who are looking to join RSA or looking to make money online in whatever facet, can strongly resonate and empathize with that situation because nearly every guy I speak to goes through the exact same process. Nobody around them kind of really trusts what they're doing. They're very skeptical, which is very normal and warranted, by the way. I'm just some random guy online. Like, why would you trust me? The reason you would trust me is because of the case studies we have, and the results we post very publicly on our YouTube. But I get it. It's a difficult process. And so many guys like you as well probably are thinking, I have so much higher potential here and I could be doing something so much more. You spoke about like your previous lifestyle and what your friends used to do and you wanted something different. I feel like there's a quiet ambition that a lot of people do have, especially at that age. It's just most people that they're surrounded by don't match that ambition and don't match that same drive they have as well. So if you're watching this, there are people who exist who are out there like that, like Sammy, like myself, and a lot of our clients we work with in our community. There is a place for where you can place that ambition, you can do really well, which is, in my opinion, the RSA, right? So you came in, you joined the program, right? You put in a big investment, super scary thing to do. What was the next steps for you from there? Like, what did it look like with your sales journey?
Mm. It was a hustle. It was not easy. Um, Pretty much every step of the way was just doing something super uncomfortable because sales is very uncomfortable. Like everything you do. And I was actually the biggest introvert before starting of this. Like I could not hold a proper conversation for my life. Um, and doing all these uncomfortable things allowed me to change the way that I think, change the person I am, how I present myself, how I speak. And it's just opened so many doors for me. But what it came down to was just like pushing for the goals that I have through the course, having the accountability of not only yourself, but also other community members. So what it came down to was like launching a personal brand, recording myself for the first time. That's something that you really advocate for. Networking, talking to people I never met before in order to learn from them. Funny thing is, like, I have a sister-in-law. She's like the head of marketing for Bupa, like one of the biggest insurance companies in Australia, even probably the world, maybe. Maybe it's international. She has been in that industry for like 20 years now. When I told her about like the stuff I was learning, she was like, that's very essential. It's stuff that no one really talks about. But even in the corporate world, like a very traditional route, it's like this is what like the high level people in the industry need to do to be able to get far in their career. It's networking, it's personal branding, it's going out there, it's LinkedIn, all these things I never even thought was possible. So not only was it developing my sales skills, it was doing everything I needed to see success in not only sales, but in business.
No, I
So
love
that
that.
was a big mind blown for me as well. And it pushed me to get really uncomfortable as well.
No, I love that.
Mm,
And yeah, a big thing for a lot of guys are looking to get into sales and you feel like you're quite introverted. This is one of the best places you could possibly be to learn those communication skills and become more confident and become more articulate in basically everything that you do. The way that you get anywhere in life is how you communicate, you package, you position, and you articulate ideas. So the better you can get at that, the farther you'll go in life. And we can talk about later on some of the guys you probably met in person recently at the event you went in Sydney, how those
mm,
guys show up and what that looks like as well. I'm sure that was a bit of a cool exposure. We'll unpack that later. But to continue on with your journey, so you went in with a couple offers. They probably weren't so great. You sold some fitness, right? You sold some
yeah.
pretty tough offers. You had your calls pulled apart.
Mm.
How many offers would you say accumulatively that you ended up working until you actually found the one that just absolutely just took off for you like it is now?
Took me took me two. So every step of the way, and one thing that I love about the RSA is you've kind of indoctrinated the idea of growing, right? Which is something that I've focused heavily on. It's like do the things you need in order to grow. Don't just focus on the short-term gratification, but like what you need to put yourself in the best position possible to see success. So the first two offers I ever took was one was fitness. It was just pure grind. It was just very, very cold leads. The marketing was like very, switch and baity. It's just not the best thing in the world. But I knew that I needed to get the reps in to one, better articulate myself on calls, but also just grow the reputation of, doing something that I don't like doing, just talking
Yeah.
to people, putting myself out there, developing the skill. Second one was selling e-commerce. It was a very hard offer because of how cold the leads were as well, but so much volume. And through that, and also through just getting my calls absolutely picked apart by you, right? I was one of the guys who would always put my hand up, always go out there, say like, "Hey, I want my calls recorded. I want to have you review them, and I want to also role play." Like all these things allowed me to get to where I am. So those two offers were like building blocks for me. Got to my third one and just absolutely skyrocketed. Like um, it's it's a really big offer in Australia, and the package size like 15K. I never thought I would be able to sell such a big package, but because I had all the fundamentals down from working these weird hard offers, I just absolutely skyrocketed and like easily became like the top rep after a month.
Which I love that.
Like,
That's amazing. And to give the guys an example of like what it is exactly that you're selling right now, like how do you actually help your clients and like what is it that you sell?
yeah. So I'm selling a Airbnb arbitrage package at the moment. So helping people basically start a business on utilizing Airbnb. It's very much like not just make money online, but they're actually in the places. They're actually building out these Airbnbs. Um, it's crazy what kind of packages you can sell. Like you can sell anything under the sun, right? And at the end of the day, it helps people one either break out the 9 to 5, become healthier. Like there's so many different avenues. It's what you really apply yourself to.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And so like what's different right now in terms of your lifestyle and what it looks like, or I mean what it could have looked like when you kind of fully, followed on through like pursuing a degree. Like how are
Mm.
things different? Like what kind of jobs did you work? Or I mean, were you just interning? Like what was the lifestyle like there? And now what is the type of lifestyle you have now?
Mm. Um, I used to be a barista, I used to lifeguard, I used to do all these different things. It was good money, right? It wasn't horrible. It was enough to get by, but what really motivated me was like I want to have the nicer things in life. I don't want to ever be held back by finances. If I was to go down being a paramedic, I'd probably be chucked in the middle of nowhere for like, months at a time, not being able to have the freedom to be with my partner. So now that I can pretty much work from anywhere in the world, I didn't actually choose to travel the world. I chose to work from home, be with my partner. I can drive her to the train station. I can pick her up from work. I have the flexibility to do that. I have the flexibility to look after her when she needs. Um, but also it's like I can make money from anywhere, which is the best part. Like so much freedom in terms of location, time freedom, right? It's completely different to if I went down to traditional path.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think it's not just like the ceiling is raised in terms of income wise, but it's just the flexibility and the freedom that you have to be able to work from anywhere. Once you've kind of tasted that, there's really no going back to any normal like traditional job. You have to kind of work remotely moving forwards because
Yeah,
it's so difficult to sacrifice and give that up in general. I just think once you've tasted it, you can't go back.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a really good insight because you have worked extremely hard and like Sammy mentioned before in terms of like reviewing coaching calls, like pulling sales calls apart. A lot of guys who are in RSA currently or looking to join RSA, they always look back and they reflect on these interviews of like, what have these guys done to be so successful? Because just because you join RSA as a mentorship doesn't guarantee success by any means. We've never claimed that by far. But
Mm,
we get a lot of results for great people. But the reason they get results is because they put in the work well. And Sammy is another one of those really great examples of a client that I've worked with where, regardless of what he's seeing on the field, he was coming to coaching calls, he was participating, he was asking questions, always putting his hand up. And it's always those same few guys. I'm sure you recognize, some of the guys you've got in your current group and circle inside RSA, and the guys that you've always seen on calls that are participating. These are the guys that are always at 10K plus a month, always getting to 10, 20, 30K plus a month. Even had guys, that are high as earning, 20K plus a month who still
mm,
attend group coaching calls with me and they still constantly improve. So for those guys that are looking at joining RSA, or even guys who are in the community already, what do you think it takes and how do you think someone needs to show up to actually make, 10K a month really actually possible with high ticket sales?
mm. I think one thing that sets RSA apart from any other community is just your focus on having the right people and giving them the right mindset, right? So, like the first couple modules, I expected you to go straight into sales training, but you actually explained the mindset, the kind of discipline, and what you need to think like to be able to see success. And that was the biggest needle mover for me. That was a game changer for me because I never thought about it that way. It's like there's all these like different psychology books, business books, all these different things that you can actually learn from to be able to see the success without just the skills alone. That's something that I learned heavily from you is like, okay, I need to surround myself with the right people. I need to work hard and be very uncomfortable, do the things I don't want to do. All right. And I need to have that long-term vision. That's something that's instilled into pretty much every RSA member. And following that, it's like what I did to see success was um, basically those things. Like I found my little network of people inside RSA, and you'll find that these are the nicest people in the world. Like it blows my mind how much value they always give because that's like 101 RSA, give value back to people. And that's what I'm all about now. All right. I talk to people and you'll find like so many people out there willing to help you. Like I networked with these big hitters. Like AJ was one of the ones who just gave me so much value that it basically changed my entire trajectory when I joined this new offer and I was able to excel because he gave me all the source beforehand. Brian, who's right now helping me so much in sales, like I never would have met him if I didn't go out there and actually start talking to these people.
Mm.
Um, and he's not even in RSA. It's just like the surroundings that you have when you surround yourself with the right people. But on top of that, it's just like doing the things that you don't want to do, right? Like you mentioned, like putting my calls up to get reviewed. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But I knew that I needed to do it in order to get better.
Yeah.
And it's just like that whole ecosystem that you created because of everyone having this very similar, the right mindset. That was the biggest thing that changed for me.
I love
Yeah.
that. And something I want to talk about and unpack is exposure for you. Because before we hopped on, you talked about, you had a really great opportunity to meet some, online entrepreneurs in Sydney as well. Like, tell me more, like, what that was like. You probably met again up with some of the closers and, people inside RSA as well. Like, what was
Mm.
that experience like being with around like close proximity to guys who are, making, I'm sure, like 100K plus a month, levels. Like, what was that experience like? And what do you think you took away from that experience?
Mm. Yeah. So what it came down to was like I did build like a bit of a personal brand. Like one of the things you also vouch for was like having personal brand. So started my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my Facebook, sales with Sam. Started documenting my journey a little bit. From there, it's like whenever I would like talk to someone, network with someone that would follow my Instagram, they would see the kind of journey I was going, and that allowed me to kind of like be known within the space a little bit. So while I was actually invited to this community, this little mastermind held by Ethan Ewan, who's over in Sydney. Killer dude. He's teaching people how to basically build up an offer, how to run their own offer, and how to actually do all the marketing, sales, everything involved. He got together a bunch of guys because he knew that in Australia it's a lot of tall poppy syndrome, right? So when you surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, you can actually expand your mindset. These guys absolutely blew my mind. It was the coolest thing ever. So they're like 16-year-olds making 160K a month, right?
Crazy.
There are, yeah, crazy, absolutely insane. There are marketing guys who are like, they have five different brick and mortar clients, and he's able to take rev share on big jobs that they do because he helped them implement leads and marketing to be able to generate those leads. I mean, um, absolutely blew my mind the water because I'm so used to surrounding myself with like people I know in the real world. Of course, the online space is slightly different. Like when you actually meet them in person, just everything you know about life has completely changed. Everything you know about money, everything you know about business. And what I found was because I had the skill set of sales, I was able to put myself in front of pretty much anyone, be able to provide value, but also learn so much for them just purely through communication. So I found like a lot of these guys, they're big entrepreneur people. Like they love marketing, they know marketing super well. They can generate so much money, but they don't even have the skill set, or they're not very versed in that skill set of being able to reach out to people and be able to build that connection. So that's something I'm really grateful for sales for. And it's allowed me to connect with these type of people.
I love that. And I think that's a really, really big point to touch on there. If you're a younger guy watching my YouTube channel, which a lot of guys who look at joining RSA are between like 18 to 25. If you're older, that's okay too. I've got a lot of older clients as well, but a lot of the people that do watch my YouTube channel from the statistics are that age. Um, One of the best things you can do is learn sales at, that type of age range because you really do learn how to communicate far better than the average individual. And as I mentioned before, I really do believe that your quality of life is truly dictated by your level of communication, articulation skills, how you can package up and present and position ideas. And this is a skill that every room you walk into, high value people value your skill set above and beyond. Because if you really, really intentionally focus on getting really good at this skill set for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, you'll be better than the majority of the world at this particular one skill set. I mean, even 6 months, you'd be better than, general business owners. And it's
Yeah.
always fascinating to see that most people who jump into high ticket sales eventually, if they want to, can end up starting their own very, very successful business online because they've developed the one skill set that you can't hire out up until, 50, 60K a month. This is obviously crazy things that, maybe you might hear those numbers and you might think that's insane. But just as Sammy said, there are 16, 17-year-olds who are doing crazy numbers that you absolutely have no idea about. You've probably just never met them before and you're not in the right circles, right? But bottom line, if you learn this skill well, it really serves the foundations extremely well to create your own successful business in the future, which I feel like a lot of people give high ticket sales the miss because they want to start their own marketing agency. I'm probably sure you've maybe tried something like that yourself before, right?
I've actually never, but thinking
Wow.
back, it's like if I did start something like that and I didn't see success, maybe I threw like 20,000 into ads or media buying, I wouldn't see success. I'd be so easily demotivated by that because I'm operating at a loss. With sales, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to lose at all. All you have is something to gain. And the way that you think because of that transitions so well into business. Because once you can regulate your emotions in terms of sales, because one day you could be making nothing like I did, and then the next day I made like 5K in one day, just absolutely changes how you think. So then when you do go into business, you have a big loss. doesn't affect you. You have a big win, doesn't affect you, and you're able to level out your business and do so much better than someone who just went straight into business.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's a great insight. And I think toppling on the point that I was mentioning earlier, in terms of most guys like lead with starting their own SMMA or like a TikTok agency or whatever else, dropshipping, they try to skip steps while, getting ahead and starting their own business because egos at play. Why would I want to work for another business? I want to start my own business.
Mm.
Really, if you can put your ego aside for 6 months, a year, 2 years, you can be way further and way more successful with your business in the longer term if you're willing to sacrifice those years for a core skill set that will continue to serve you the rest of your life, right? Which is a big
Yeah.
thing to mention.
Mm.
I'm curious, man, in terms of your family right now, I'm not sure if you mentioned, the stuff that you're doing with them, especially recently, you're transparent of that stuff. Like, how does your family feel about like what you're doing? I mean, it's quite against going to the traditional path. Like, where are you at there?
So my family doesn't really know or they don't really fully understand like some of what I'm doing. They're not against it, but they're also not super in tune or supportive of it. So I'm one of those lucky people who have the freedom to do whatever I want and they won't really bat an eye. So in terms of my family, it's like I could go to them one day and be like, hey, I just made 12K a month. And it would just completely shock them, just completely blow their mind. I have an older brother who's becoming a lawyer. Like, of course, he's doing really well in his realm. One of my goals is to be able to overtake him in terms of his income and show him it's like, hey, I worked really hard to get here, right? And although you went down the traditional path, like I'm able to get faster results.
Love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think for a lot of young guys, it's always something to prove. And a lot of times, their family is usually not going to be that supportive, the people around them, because it is a really tricky thing for people to understand and comprehend about making money online, even though this space has been around since like 2016, 2017, round there. It is still really hard and difficult for people to wrap their minds around what we're doing. And I still think it's going to be the case until like mid 2035 or something crazy like that, until people really accept and understand that the traditional route, unless you want to become a lawyer or a doctor or like these types of, academic routes, there is, in my honest opinion, really no reason why you should be going to university or college and overpaying for education where, again, there's a whole kettle of worms, but you're going to
Yeah.
go to a job and they're going to say, where's your experience? You've just got a degree. I
Mhm.
talk to so many people who are looking to join the RSA. It's the same thing again and again. And I want to hear your insight on this, which is that these guys, spend 3, 4, 5 years studying a degree, and then every employer they go to won't hire them because they don't have enough experience or they're not competitive in the job market. I'm curious on your own experience with that, or if you've had friends close to you that have experienced something similar.
Yeah. So I have a $24,000 degree in paramedicine. Not gonna make me any money for the next 2 years. And even if I do decide to go down that route, I would be capped at 100,000 after 5 years. I'd probably be burnt out. I'd have to work night shift, right? Although I am helping people, which is something I love, it wouldn't give me the vehicle that I need to live the life that I want to live.
Mm,
So with that, it's like I kind of just fell into it, and now I have HEX debt, which is like the Victorian equivalent of like student loans. Right? If I had decided not to go down that route, like I strongly believe in like there's a journey for everyone. I would have saved 24K, but also like I learned something a lot from that. I was able to enjoy and live that like university life, which is something I'm very grateful for. But at the same time, if I like had spent that 3 years going into sales, I would be way ahead right now. Probably be making way more than 50,000 a month or doing anything else. So it's like it's an endless possibility. You just have to surround yourself with the right people, be in the right circles, and have the right opportunities land in front of you, capitalize on it. Yeah.
absolutely. It's about picking the right vehicle at the end of the day. And if someone was looking at getting started in high ticket sales right now, what would you tell, younger Sammy who was looking to get in this industry and was kind of just like going to figure it out? What would you
Hmm.
tell someone who's looking to get into it or is just kind of just starting?
I'd say listen to your gut because there's a lot of times where you're gonna have like devil and angel on your shoulder, right? You're never gonna know which way to go. But do what you think will be best in order to put yourself in position to get to where you want to go, right? Think long term, not short term, right? It's going to suck in the short term. It really is going to suck. I've had so many times along this journey where I just wanted to give up so bad. But I knew I had something to prove. I knew that I was going to keep pushing myself because when you have that mindset, there's no way you're going to fail, right? You only fail when you give up. With that, it's like keep giving value as well, because whatever you put out there, you're going to get back. Like for myself, I started training up newer reps and helping them out in the space because I know that one, it'll help me develop my understanding, my skills, and they get a lot of out of it too. All right. So with that, it's like reach out to people, listen to your gut, do the uncomfortable, and just don't give up. That's pretty much it.
I love that. And if we're going to touch on, a really, really big lesson around offer acquisition, right? It's the same thing that every one of my clients tells me.
Mm.
What would you say your biggest lessons would be around like offer acquisition? How important is it? Is it more your skill set, more opportunity? Like your honest opinion, like after being in the space for a while and seeing the transformation you've had, like what were your biggest learnings around that and what do you think is most important?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. Offer plays a really big part in how much money you make. That being said, I personally value growth more than anything. That's like why I enter the space, why I do what I do, why I like helping other people a lot, because I like to grow a lot, like to watch other people grow. So, although offer is everything, I wouldn't just gun straight for the best offer in the world because I know that I'm not going to grow there necessarily. So what I did was I picked the hardest offers to start with to be able to grow my skill set. So by the time I felt like I was ready, once I jumped on the right one, the right vehicle, the right offer, it just skyrocketed for me. So it was like a sequence of just like very calculated growth. And then once everything was right, it's like, okay, now I'm going to search for the right offer and it's going to get me to where I want to go. Yeah.
And that's a perfect mindset, and that's exactly why you're at where you're at. Sacrificing the short term for the long term and having that longer term thinking of training and developing your skill set and then also prioritizing offer acquisition. And then, like our chat from 60 days ago, bang, that's exactly how it happens. Nothing for a while, then all at once. And I think for a lot of younger guys who enter into space, don't have that longer term mindset, and that's why they're not successful. They can't sacrifice the short term earnings for the long term potential. And if you're watching this and you're in the younger end of the spectrum, understand if you're between 19 to 25, you have a lot of years, right? And you have a lot of time, 80 for you, not against you. So use your time to your advantage. Take your time, be patient, get the right mentor, get the right community, get access to the right training, the right support systems. And inevitably, if the person that you're working with, okay, me, right, has enough results and enough proof of concept that if you follow a process and a system, you will get there eventually. All you need to do is just continue walking. That's it. Just like Sammy said, don't quit. When
Mm.
you do high ticket sales, it's more than likely it's not going to be an easy breezy situation for you. We're talking about like 1% out of 100 will have like a 10K a month, 90 days type situation. You're probably going to eat some shit and it's probably going to be a little bit difficult, right? And that's just the raw facts of it. And as long as you
Mm.
can have that mindset and that awareness going into it, the right expectation, even like Sammy has, even though you know that, it's still going to be tricky. Even if you know it's going to be difficult, it's still going to be difficult for you. But if you can just have the mindset of, I'm going to persist and I'm going to keep walking and be consistent until I get there, you will get to where you want to inevitably go. It's just inevitable. It's just time. And the thing that sucks about time is time takes time. And it is a painful thing to kind of wait through and be patient with. But you have
Mm.
my word. I think I've got enough proof of concept by now on the YouTube channel to say that that's the case,
Yeah.
you know?
And I just want to add on that. It's like, although it does take time, right? If you knew that you were going to be making $10,000 in, 9 months time, 6 months time, it would be worth eating all that shit because if you went to like corporate world, you would be starting at for 80K, right? it would take you 10 years to get to, 150. Whereas guys who ate shit for 6 months, just put in the pure hard grind effort, went down a route that they didn't have any certainty in, but they knew that they were going to get there. That allowed them to pretty much hit that mark within the span of like even less than a year.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so to give the guys some insights based off, someone who's been in the RSA training for how many months now? Do you know?
Oh, like not even 8 months.
Crazy. So
Yeah.
around like 7, 8 months now, you've been around the training program. How would you describe the RSA to someone who's looking to join or, potentially considering joining the mentorship? Like, what was your experience going into it? What was the training like, the community, the group coaching calls, all that?
Yeah. What I found about the community, it was just everyone's so willing to help each other out. Like, even if you hit me up, I'm willing to provide value, willing to provide my training to help you get to my level, even because like everyone in the space thinks the same way as me. It's like when you give out there, you give value out there, you receive back. And that's something that I learned in the RSA. On top of that, like all the group coaching, all the trainings, it's like there's so much value being given out. And being in this space for so long, I know it's like not a lot of mentorships are like that. Not a lot of mentorships have people who genuinely want to help each other out. A lot of them are just like out for their own, which was I'm very grateful for it, to be honest. And like I even not sure if you know this kind of like I created a little Discord for like a group of like beginners, intimate people who wanting to grow and who are wanting to help each other out. Just like a little place where people can network. And it's
Mm,
like so much of that is inside RSA as well.
yeah. No, I love that. And is there anything else, after probably working with some guys outside of RSA and seeing other people inside the high ticket sales community? Besides the community and I guess everybody want to help each other out, have you noticed any other differences that you feel like separates RSA from everything else that you've kind of seen out there?
Hmm. Um, just I have joined a couple, not a lot, of communities out there in the sales space. From my understanding, RSA is just such a good fundamental um, mentorship. It's good to get people started. It's good to help people understand the fundamentals, the basics, and the mindset behind what it takes to be successful. A lot of times when you're chucked into a mentorship, it just give you the skills and you're off on your own. Whereas this is like, okay, this is exactly what you need to succeed. This is how you need to think. This is how you need to view networking. This is how you need to view yourself, your mindset, all these different things that add up that don't just help in sales, but in life in general. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so there's a more of a focus on the fundamentals and foundations about how you need to think about the space, the industry, and yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
Love that. That's great. And so, I mean, in case it isn't obvious already, I always like to ask this question anyway. How likely would you be to recommend someone, anyone that's looking to get started with high ticket sales to join the RSA, as well as like what would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence?
Yeah. High ticket sales in RSA, it's not for everyone, right? If you're dedicated, if you know you're going to be hardworking, if you do well with accountability and you're willing to be held accountable to see success because you know you're made for more, it's the perfect place for you, right? And I don't take that lightly because there were so many times I wanted to quit, so many times where I had a lot of self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs, kind of helped me break through a lot of those. And that's what allowed me to get to where I am. So if you're willing to be challenged, you're willing to put in the work, it's like you can see really amazing results. If that's not you, walk away. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah.
100%. If you're gonna flake at the first hardship or the first problem or the first roadblock, this space, this mentorship is definitely not for you, like 1,000%. If you're looking for someone that's going to commit with you all the way, then it's the perfect place for you. And if you're willing to get your calls picked apart, if you're willing, to be, humbled, right? Very, very humbled, because that's what the general feedback is with a lot of guys I work with. Sales is a very unforgiving space if you're bad, right? And you're not good at what you do. So when you start out naturally, you're not going to be very good. And that's very, very common and normal. And it's a direct reflection of how good you are. So it will take time. And if you're not willing to show up and have a high standard for yourself and put in the work, then it's definitely not going to be the place for you. And I definitely agree with Sammy on that.
Yeah.
Is there any other final notes you want to share with the guys in terms of your experience or just to anyone that's looking to get in the space?
Yeah. If you're looking to get in the space, just get amongst the people. Like the best people in the entire online space will be the ones you meet in sales, I reckon. Um, what was a really big game changer for me was just finding my little circle of people that I joined with at the same time, building a little like community relationship with them. And these are guys that I'm going to have a friendship with for life. Like we went through the trenches together. Like Josh, Daniel, Ryan, Lorenzo. Like you know this. Like all of us are gonna have our case studies pretty much wrapped up within the next month or so. And it's because we stuck with each other. We gave each other the confidence, the fundamentals. We shared value with each other for so long. And I can see all of us hitting 50K a month. Like I can already see it. Right. And there's big things, it's like really exciting things happening for a couple of us. I'm going to save it for Ryan's 20K per month. So exciting times because sales gives you so much opportunity as well.
Mm,
Um, I'm a completely different person because of it, and I'm super grateful for that.
I love that, dude. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's not just the results you've achieved now, but the potential for scaling is really exciting as well. Like you mentioned, Ryan hit a massive month just this month. And yeah, just a lot of guys in your circle that are absolutely winning. And you found the majority, if not all of them, in RSA, which is really cool to see.
Mhm.
So yeah, guys, hopefully that was inspiring because Sammy definitely did not have it easy as just with any of the case studies here. And so if Sammy can do it, if I can do it, you can do it as well. And if you're looking to be, if you're looking to put in the hours, you're looking to work hard, then you can absolutely achieve the same results given enough time.
Mhm.
6 months to a year is as long as you really need for this. And if you're ready to be committed, then now's the time. And I think RSA is the best place to do it. So yeah, if you want to be a part of the mentorship in the community, there's a link as always down in the description below if you want to fill an application form to speak to me and my team. But otherwise, Sammy, thanks for hopping on, bro. Of
No worries, man. Thank you for mentoring me.
course, brother. Of course. Well,
Right.
amazing, amazing interview. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.